So you're thinking about moving to Utah? Well, then this channel's for you. Welcome to Living in Provo, Utah, where we talk about everything about what it's like to live in Provo, Utah and the surrounding cities. Basically the Utah Valley or Utah County area. So we're talking about everything from Lehi to the north to Vineyard in the middle, all the way on down to Salem on the south, and every city in between. Now in this particular video, we're actually going to go a little bit further south. We're going down to St. George, and we're going to talk about the cost of living and what it's like to live in that city, what it's going to cost you for housing, to buy and to rent, groceries, daycare, things of that nature. And so don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and click on that notification bell so that you get notified every time that we drop a new video about what it's like to live in Utah, and specifically in the Provo, Utah area. But again, today we're branching out just a little bit, going a little further south. St. George is about 3.5 hours south of Provo. The reason we're including that in our video is because it's a place that a lot of people in this area go to vacation, to buy second homes, to have Airbnb homes. And so there's a lot of people that from this area that also have second homes in that area. So we're going to talk about what it's like to live in St. George, and specifically what it costs to live in that area. So with that, let's talk about the cost of living in St. George. So my name is Scott Walters. I'm with Best USA Realty. I've been in the real estate business really since 1993. I started as a mortgage loan officer, and then in 1999 I became a real estate agent, and then in 2004 a real estate broker. And I've spent a lot of my career, well, I've spent all my career helping people buy, refinance, and sell properties all over the state of Utah, St. George included. I've helped a lot of people in that area as well. So today, and again, if you're thinking of moving to the area, I love it when people reach out to me. You can give me a call, text, email. I'll put my information in the description. You can reach out to me. I'd love to help you learn and know everything there is to what it's like to live in Utah, all over Utah. So with that, let's get into talking about the cost of living in St. George. So the first thing on my list for cost of living is housing. That's what most people want to know when they're moving to or relocating to the area of, anywhere in Utah. Is what's it going to cost me to live here, whether I'm buying a house or whether I'm renting a house. And so that's what we'll talk about now. I just quickly was looking up the most current statistics for homes in the St. George area, and there's quite a few. There's 507 active listings. Now that does include homes that have not been built yet, but they're on the market as to be built. So, but there's quite a few options for you to choose from. And of course, you can go all the way up to the multi-million-dollar homes. Those are going to be the homes that are going to be 5, 6, 7, 8,000 square feet. There's plenty of those around there. One of the things that I do like about St. George is I'm noticing that it seems that there's a little more affordable homes in that area compared to the central Utah area, the Provo area that I normally cover. So I was just down there this past weekend. I've got a list of properties that I looked at as potential Airbnbs or rental homes. I found quite a few townhomes that are in the 330, 350,000 price range. I even came across a condo for 253. But this is here's the thing that you need to understand when you're looking at areas. You better have someone who knows the area, knows what's going on. That home, the condo, was right next to 2 condemned buildings, so that's always going to hamper the value of that particular property. It's going to be kind of stigmatized. So just make sure you kind of understand the areas and know what's a good area, what may be considered stigmatized area. And like I say, that property is always going to suffer in value a little bit because people might wonder if that building will get condemned too. Right now it looks great. The property looks wonderful. May make an absolutely great rental property. Then I looked at a couple single family homes, and you can get some 3-bed, 2-bath single family homes that are around 1,300 to 1,400 square feet. It's still in that 350 to 400,000 price range. And then of course I think probably the biggest majority of homes in St. George are in the 5, 6, 700,000 price range, and those are anywhere from 2,500 to 4,500 square feet, just depending upon the age of the home, the condition of the home, the amenities of the home. So there's kind of a pretty big range there, but we can help you find whichever property you might be interested in. So there you have it when it comes to the cost of housing in the St. George area. Now, when it comes to rental, I've also noticed that rental prices are a little bit less down in St. George as they are compared to here in Utah County, where I live full time. You can get a 2 to 3 bedroom condo or townhome for around $1,400 to $1,500. That same thing up here is going in Utah County is going to cost you close to $2,000 a month. So that's kind of a nice bonus, as the cost of living as far as housing is still a little bit cheaper in St. George. Okay, so the next thing that people ask about, what does it cost for utilities? What's it going to cost me to live here every day? I mean, everyone's got to have utilities. They got to have power and water, lights, all that kind of thing. So of course, this is a bit of a subjective matter because it really depends upon your usage level, but there are base rates for most of these things. So I was looking on the website for the city, and I'll include a link to that in the description so you can go look at the base rates for utilities in St. George. The base rate for power starts at $19.65 a month. And again, that's like their lowest level of service. And then, of course, you're charged more based upon how much more power that you use. The base for water is $20.75 a month, and again, that's the same kind of deal. I think I saw on there, if I remember right, that gets you up to 7,500 gallons of water, and then you're going to be getting charged more if you go past that. Sewer is just a flat fee of $20.15 a month. Garbage is also a flat fee of $13.19, and the recycling is $5.98. And then they have a storm drain fee of $4.50, and then they have a water conservancy district that starts at $1.75 and it goes up from there. I'm not 100% sure of what all that covers. They also have a monthly flood control fee of $1.50. So I would say if you're budgeting anywhere from $300 to $500 a month for a utility bill for an average home, that's going to be a pretty safe range on what your monthly utility bill is going to cost you in the St. George area. Next up on the list is transportation. What's it going to cost you to get around in St. George? So that's one of the things, St. George is not necessarily a real walkable community. Things are pretty spread out. It's not really compacted into a real dense urban area. And so you're going to be using cars or buses or things of that nature to get around in. The good thing is they do have a bus system for the city of St. George. It's called SunTran. I was looking up their monthly pass. It looks like it's $30 a month to be able to use the bus to get around St. George. That's pretty darn cheap for a month. And then, of course, they also have a lot of bike paths everywhere. So if you want to get around by bike, there are just a lot of options to be able to get around on bike. But when it comes to grocery shopping, you're going to need to probably have a car to get to those places to get your grocery shopping done. And, that's also another subjective thing. What kind of vehicle are you going to drive? If you're driving an SUV, then you're going to be spending $150 every time you fill up that tank. If you're using a hybrid, then you're going to be around $37 a tank to be able to get around in. And then, of course, if you have an electric vehicle, it's probably even less than that. I've talked on other videos that I actually have a Honda Insight, which I really love. It's a hybrid car. And if I'm driving very conservative, I can get around 50 miles to the gallon with that. And so when I was in St. George this last weekend, I filled that tank up. My son and I drove all over the city, and we barely even made a dent in our gas gauge. So anyway, when it comes to the cost of transportation, totally up to you, depending on what you like to drive, how fast you like to drive. I also brought my truck down on that trip, and that dang thing only gets around 10 miles to the gallon. So we didn't drive it anywhere other than to take the boat over to the lake. All right, so the next up on my list is childcare, daycare. I tell people I may not be the expert in this area because my wife and I did not put our kids into daycare, but we did do preschool, so we've got some experience there. But I was checking out on the internet just for the area locally for St. George. I'm seeing that a lot of the daycare where you're putting your child in there all day, well, at least while you're at work all day and they're watching your child, taking care of them, I'm seeing a pretty average price is somewhere between $150 and $170 per week per child. So, and of course, they have different options. Many different daycares offer different packages depending on maybe you only need your child there 1 or 2 days. So that fee can vary, but that's kind of an average, $150 to $170 a week per kid. Now, when it comes to preschool, I think most of the places are going to be somewhere between $90 and $100 a month, and that gets your kids usually about 3 days of preschool where they can go kind of help get them prepared for kindergarten. My wife and I used a wonderful preschool right next to us. She charged us $90 a month for every single one of our kids, and it prepared them very nicely for kindergarten. So that gives you an idea what it's going to cost you for childcare in the St. George area. All right, next up on the list is your phone bill. Like I say, or like I've noticed, most people are cutting the cord, so they don't have landlines anymore, so we won't cover that too much. I do still keep a landline. It costs me $10 a month, and that's wrapped up in my cable and internet bill. If I just had the landline, it would be a little bit more than that. But most people, like I say, they're using one of the big three cell phone companies, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. I'm currently with T-Mobile. It works fantastic all over St. George. I was there this last weekend, was able to get service everywhere that I went. And that's their service starts at about $65 a month and then goes up to $100 a month for 2 lines. And then they add about $20 a month for every line thereafter. AT&T starts at around $75 a month, up to $140 for 2 lines, and then about the same thing, $20 a month for each line thereafter. Verizon, I've found, has been the most expensive, starting around $80 for 1 line, up to $140 for 2 lines, and they're also around that $20 for each additional line. I have been with each one of these services, and I've had really good service, really, with all of them. The only reason that I switched is because I was finally able to get a little bit lower bill and really great service through T-Mobile. I was with AT&T for over 20 years, and then my neighbor was doing a special working for some company, and he talked me into sign up with T-Mobile. I've been very happy with them. I had Verizon for 1 year. I was very happy with their service too. It's just it was a little more expensive than the others. Then you have a bunch of the secondary services that are out there, like your Cricket Wireless, other companies like that buy big blocks of time from the big three and then resell it at a discount. The only downside to that I was reading is they might lower your speeds a little bit compared to those who are on the main service, and that's just how one way they're able to kind of keep their fees down a little bit. But anyway, that can give you an idea what it's going to cost you for your phone service in the St. George area. Next on the list for the cost of living in St. George is groceries. That's a big expense for most people. How much is it going to cost you to feed yourself and your family? The good thing about St. George is there's a lot of different options for grocery stores. You've got a Harmon's, a Smith's, Albertsons. There's, of course, Costco. You've got several different Walmart stores. So you got plenty of places that you can go shopping for groceries. I like to generally say that you need to budget somewhere between $100 and $150 per person per month. That's a pretty safe budget on being able to buy enough groceries for the month for everybody. And of course, this is a completely subjective topic as well, because groceries can really depend upon how much you're going to, what you eat. If you're eating lots of steak and beef, things of that nature, then you're going to have a lot higher bill, because right now beef is pretty expensive. So it just really depends. If you're having some more, you can definitely have more budget-friendly meals like casseroles, spaghettis, just meals like that. Then you can keep your bill down quite a bit. But I'd say on average, you're somewhere between $100 to $150 per person. That's probably about where we're at. I've got a family of 8, and we're spending a little over $1,000 a month to provide enough food for the family. So anyway, that just kind of gives you an idea what it's going to cost you for groceries in St. George. Finally, let's talk about entertainment, because everybody's got to have some entertainment in their lives. That's kind of part of our cost of living. That's our quality of life, is all the entertainment that we can still have in the areas that we live. St. George offers a lot of entertainment opportunities. They do have like a miniature golf place in town. But they have a lot of things that are free. There's a lot of beautiful city parks that you can go to and enjoy, just hanging out on the park benches, on the grassy areas, or hiking around in the Red Rocks. There's a lot of opportunities there that's free. They have a beautiful All Abilities Park with lots of activities for people and families in that area. And then they also have a ton of biking trails. They have a whole bunch. They have about 60 miles or so of paved biking trails, but a whole bunch more of dirt trails that you can take your mountain bikes on. So, you can bike all over the city for hours, and that's free. And that's a lot of good entertainment. They also have a lot of golf courses, beautiful golf courses all over the city. You're probably going to be paying anywhere from $45 to $65 to get a cart and play 9 holes. But yeah, there's a lot of opportunities to golf all over the St. George area. They also have just a lot of hiking in the area. And then if you want to go a little further out, we've got the national parks that aren't that far away. So you're going to spend $35. I think that's what they charge you to get into Zion's. Same thing with Bryce. Zion's is 45 minutes to an hour away from St. George. Bryce Canyon is around 2 hours away. And both of those are just absolutely beautiful and stunning national parks with lots of hiking opportunities. Recently, my family went to both of those parks. We went to Zion's. We just drove through Zion's that day. It was 107, so it was a little hot. But the 2 days before that, we were out at Bryce Canyon. We hiked down one of their famous hikes called Wall Street. Super steep, zigzag trail down into the Bryce Canyon amphitheater, but absolutely stunning. Absolutely beautiful. I'd highly recommend it. We also went to a place called Mossy Cave. It has a beautiful hike there, and in the Bryce Canyon, you hike up to a waterfall and a little mossy cave, and we even walked right through the river at some point. So that's some pretty cool entertainment. And then also, you're only about an hour, maybe an hour and a half away to Bryan Head Ski Resort, just up out of Parowan or Cedar City, and that's pretty darn close to St. George. And that ski resort's open year-round, so you can go up there in the winter to go skiing. You can go in there in the summertime. I was just there in June with my family. We were just enjoying a lot of the activities of driving around, driving over to Panguitch Lake, which is a great place to hang out, to fish, to boat. Incredible scenery. You also have some more red rock scenery up that way. And then, of course, a lot of high alpine quake and aspen and pine tree scenery in that area. And that's all pretty darn close to St. George. That's a lot of fun entertainment. Now, if your entertainment is more city life, well, then you got plenty of that in St. George, too. You've got all the shopping that you ever want. There's lots of different grocery stores you can go to. There's lots of different, just a ton of different restaurants that you can check out. There's also a lot of shopping. They have outlet malls. They have a regular mall. They've got Costco's. You've got Home Depots and Lowe's. I mean, if that's part of your entertainment, well, there's a lot of that entertainment right there in the St. George area. Thanks for watching this video about the cost of living in St. George, Utah. I'm Scott Walters with Best USA Realty. My channel is called Living in Provo, Utah, where we mostly cover what it's like to live in the Provo, Utah area, which is about 3.5 hours to the north of St. George. But then we have lots and lots of people that reach out to us about St. George, because a lot of people in this area where I live also have second homes or vacation homes, rental homes, things of that nature down in the St. George area. I've spent a lot of time in that area too, and so we also want to include them in with this channel. So reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text. We can set up a Zoom meeting. I can share with you everything what it's like to live and play in the St. George area, as well as all around the Utah County and Provo area. Again, Scott Walters, Best USA Realty. We'll catch you on the next video. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and click on that notification bell so that you get notified every time that I drop a new video about living in Utah.